You ever wake up one day and realize that the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is you? Not luck, not opportunity, not your environment. You, your habits, your excuses, your comfort. That's what's holding you back. You've been talking about your dreams for years, but dreams don't care about talk. They care about grind. You say you want to be great. You say you want to be successful. But the question is, are you willing to suffer for it? Are you willing to outwork every single person that doubts you? Are you willing to stay locked in when everybody else is distracted? Because that's what separates the average from the unstoppable. You see, the problem is too many people want the reward without the struggle. They want the victory without the war. They want the growth without the grind. But life doesn't work like that. You don't get to skip the process. You don't get to talk your way into greatness. You have to fight your way there. Every day you wake up, life is testing you. It's asking, how bad do you want it? It's throwing pain, delay, failure, and distraction at you to see if you'll fold or if you'll rise. And most people, they fold. They quit when it hurts. They give up when it gets uncomfortable. But not you. Not anymore. Because the moment you decide to shut up and grind, your life changes. The second you stop explaining yourself, stop announcing your plans, stop waiting for motivation, that's when everything shifts. Because it's not about how loud you are. It's about how consistent you are. It's about what you do when nobody's clapping for you. It's about what you do when nobody's watching, when nobody cares, when nobody believes. That's when you build your power. That's when you create your legacy. You've got to understand something. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you your dream. You're going to have to fight for it, bleed for it, grind for it. You're going to have to walk through nights of doubt, seasons of pain, storms of fear, and still keep going, because that's what greatness demands. It's not for the weak. It's for the relentless, for the ones who decide I'm not stopping until I get there. So right now, if you're tired of being average, if you're done talking and ready to start building, then lock in. Cut off every distraction. Forget who's watching. Forget who's not clapping. This is about you and the grind. This is about the fire inside you that refuses to die. Because once you commit, once you give everything you have, once you say, I'm all in, life will have no choice but to move out of your way. This is your moment, not to speak it, but to prove it. So stop talking, lock in, and grind. Everybody talks like they want it, but very few are willing to go through the grind to get it. You say you want success, you say you want change, but all you keep doing is talking about it. You tell people what you're going to do, how big your dreams are, what moves you're planning, but where's the action? You can't talk your way into greatness. You can't speak your way into success. You have to grind your way there. Talk is cheap, and the world is already full of people who have the vocabulary of ambition, but not the discipline of achievement. The truth is, no one cares about what you say you're going to do. They're waiting to see what you'll actually produce. So stop talking and start producing. You see, there comes a point when you realize that talking gives you the illusion of progress. It makes you feel like you're doing something when really you're standing still. Every time you announce your plans, your brain gives you a tiny hit of satisfaction. It feels good to say you're going to be great, to tell people you're going to change your life. But that satisfaction kills your hunger. Because once you've talked about it, you start to feel like you've already achieved something, even though you haven't done anything yet. You've tricked yourself into believing that words are work, and that's the biggest trap. The real doers, the ones who actually change their lives, don't have time to talk. They're too busy creating. They're too busy building. They're too busy turning pain into power and grind into growth. You've got to understand something. The grind doesn't care about your words. It doesn't care about your declarations, your posts, or your promises. The grind only respects one thing: effort. You can't outtalk the work. You can't charm your way through the struggle. The grind exposes pretenders and rewards the persistent. So if you want to be great, you've got to stop announcing your goals and start executing them in silence. When you work in silence, you build something real. You give yourself room to fail, to learn, to adjust, and to grow without the noise of other people's opinions. You start to move differently. You stop chasing validation and start chasing mastery. The world doesn't need another motivational quote from you. It needs to see you living it. You don't need to tell people you're going to the gym. You need to be the one who's still there when everyone else has gone home. You don't need to tell people you're building a business. You need to be the one who's working while everyone else is sleeping. Your results will speak louder than your promises ever could. And when people finally notice, when they finally ask how you did it, you'll smile because you'll know that your silence was your secret weapon. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. Stop using your words as a shield against the fear of failure. Every time you talk about what you're going to do, but don't actually do it, you weaken your integrity. You break promises to yourself. You teach your mind that it's okay to dream without action. And that's dangerous because the mind learns through repetition. So if you keep repeating inaction, you're training yourself to stay stuck. But if you repeat execution, no matter how small, you're training yourself to win. When you start producing, when you start moving in silence, you'll notice something powerful. The noise fades. The distractions start to lose their grip. The opinions of others stop mattering because now you're in your zone. You're locked in. You're no longer addicted to external approval. You're driven by internal standard. That's when you begin to understand what real freedom feels like. When you're no longer controlled by what people think, but by what you know you must do. You see, silence isn't weakness, it's strength. It's focus. The lion doesn't announce the hunt, it just hunts. And when it moves, everything around it feels the power. That's how you have to move. Quiet, precise, and intentional. Because when you finally make noise, it shouldn't come from your mouth. It should come from your results. The car doesn't roar while it's being built. It roars when it hits the road. That's how your success should sound. Not through promises, but through proof. And here's the thing. When you stop talking and start producing, you begin to see what you're really made of. You start to face your own laziness, your own excuses, your own fears. Because now there's no hiding behind words. There's only you and the work. And that's where transformation happens. In that raw, quiet space where it's just you against your potential. That's when you discover that your excuses were never real. They were just comfortable lies. That's when you realize that all along, you didn't need motivation, you needed movement. You've got to fall in love with doing the work. You've got to love the grind for what it makes you become. Because every repetition, every failure, every late night, every early morning, it's not just building your dream, it's building your character. Talking doesn't make you stronger, work does. Every time you choose to produce instead of talk, you're adding another layer of discipline, another layer of resilience, another layer of belief. You're slowly becoming the kind of person whose silence terrifies the lazy because they know that when you're quiet, you're working. The grind isn't glamorous. It's not about motivational hype. It's dirty. It's painful. It's lonely, but it's also pure. It's where you learn to respect yourself. Because when you really work, you earn your own respect. And that's the most powerful thing in the world. When you respect yourself, you don't need anyone else to clap for you. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. Your results become your proof. Your growth becomes your validation. Your grind becomes your language. So from this moment on, stop trying to convince people you're going to make it. Stop trying to prove them wrong. Stop trying to explain yourself. Just grind. Let them doubt you. Let them laugh. Let them overlook you. Because one day the same people who ignored your words will be forced to face your word. And when they do, they'll realize that while they were talking, you were building. While they were posting, you were preparing. While they were dreaming, you were doing. There's a quote that says, work hard in silence, let success make the noise. But I'll take it one step further. Don't even let success make the noise. Let your evolution do it. Let your energy speak for itself. Because when you've truly been grinding, you don't even have to say a word. People can feel it. They can see it in the way you move, in the way you talk, in the way you carry yourself. They know you've been in the trenches. They know you've been through the storm. They know you've been putting in work when nobody was watching. And that's the real secret. Just stop talking and start producing. The moment you decide that your work will be louder than your mouth, your life begins to change. Because success doesn't come to those who announce it. It comes to those who earn it. So stop talking. Stop posting. Stop waiting. Shut up and grind. Shut up and grind. Most people don't lose because they don't have dreams. They lose because they can't stay locked in when the pain hits. It's easy to be excited when you first start. When everything feels new, when your vision feels close enough to touch. But what happens when it's 3 a.m.? When your body hurts, when you've been grinding for months and there's no sign of progress? What happens when nobody claps, when nobody notices, when your results don't match your effort? That's when most people quit. Not because they can't, but because they stop believing that the grind will ever pay off. You've got to stay locked in, even when it hurts. You've got to learn to operate in pain, not run from it. Because pain isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're growing. The truth is, the grind will break you before it builds you. It will strip away your comfort, expose your weaknesses, and test your limits until you feel like there's nothing left. That's the part most people don't understand. Growth isn't pretty. It's not motivational quotes and good vibes. It's ugly, it's painful, it's lonely, but it's also necessary. Because the version of you that's dreaming right now is not strong enough to handle the level of success you're asking for. The grind has to prepare you. It has to toughen you up, sharpen your focus, build your endurance. That's why you can't back down when things get hard. You've got to learn to find comfort inside discomfort. You've got to stop praying for it to get easier and start praying to get stronger. You've got to develop a mindset that says, no matter how bad it gets, I'm not leaving. That's what separates the grace from the rest. Commitment through pain. The people you admire, the ones who made it, they didn't make it because life was kind to them. They made it because when life hit them, they didn't run. They didn't fold. They absorbed the pain and turned it into fuel. When doors closed, they kicked them open. When people doubted them, they went harder. When they were tired, they pushed anyway. That's the mentality you need if you're going to win. The mentality that says, I'm built for this. See, pain is not the enemy. It's the instructor. It teaches you what comfort never could. Pain shows you how much you can handle, how far you can go, and what you're truly capable of. Every time you choose to keep going when it hurts, you're rewriting your limits. You're telling your body and your mind that you control them, not the other way around. Every moment of pain is a test, and every time you pass it, you level up. That's how growth happens, not through easy days, but through tough ones. So don't run from it. Lean into it. Learn from it. Let it mold you. And let me tell you something. Nobody cares how tired you are, how stressed you are, how much you've sacrificed. The world doesn't reward excuses. It rewards execution. Pain doesn't give you permission to stop. It gives you a reason to rise. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're building a different kind of strength, the kind that lasts. Because motivation fades, emotions change, but discipline stays. Discipline is what carries you through the days when your energy is gone, when your confidence is low, when your motivation is dead. Discipline is when you say, I don't care how I feel, I'm going to show up anyway. You got to be so locked in that even your feelings can't stop you. Because feelings lie. They'll tell you to rest when you need to push, to quit when you're close, to give up when you're about to break through. That's why you can't trust your emotions. You've got to trust your grind. Your grind doesn't lie. Your effort doesn't lie. The work will always tell you the truth about who you are. You can't cheat the grind. You can't fake consistency. Either you're putting in the work or you're not. And the results will show it. When you're in the grind, you have to remind yourself why you started. Because there will be days when you forget. There will be mornings when you don't see the purpose anymore, when you question if it's worth it, when your mind screams at you to stop. That's when you have to reach deep into your why. Why did you start? Why are you here? Why are you pushing? Because if your why is strong enough, it will carry you through the pain. The grind is not just physical. It's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual. You need something deeper than money, deeper than fame, deeper than recognition. You need a purpose that can withstand pain. And understand this, pain is temporary, but quitting lasts forever. You can either suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion, or you can quit now and spend the rest of your life explaining why you didn't make it. The pain of discipline will always be smaller than the pain of regret. So when it hurts, when it burns, when you feel like you can't take another step, remember that it's supposed to feel that way. The grind was never meant to be comfortable. You're supposed to feel stretched, challenged, and tested. That's how growth works. You have to keep telling yourself, I'm built for this. You have to make up your mind that no matter what happens, quitting is not an option. You've got to learn to smile in the struggle, to find beauty in the fight, to see pain as progress. Because every rep, every mile, every sleepless night, every setback, it's all building you into someone unstoppable. The pain you're feeling today is the foundation of your power tomorrow. But don't just survive the grind. Dominate it. Don't just push through pain, own it. Look at every obstacle and say, you can't break me. That's what mental toughness looks like. Not pretending the pain doesn't exist, but refusing to let it control you. Every time you overcome pain, you teach your mind that you are in charge. And once your mind learns that, you become dangerous. Because now, no excuse, no feeling, no failure can stop you. You've become immune to comfort. You've become addicted to progress. You've got to learn to live in the grind, to breathe in it, to find peace in the chaos. The grind should feel like home to you. Because the grind is where greatness is born. The grind is where champions are made. The grind is where you meet the strongest version of yourself. So when it hurts, when you want to quit, when the world tells you you're done, smile. Because that means you're right where you need to be. The grind doesn't care about your feelings, but it will reward your effort. Stay locked in, stay focused, and never forget. Pain is temporary, but greatness is forever. Most people talk about wanting success, but very few are willing to live at the level of focus it requires. You can't grind half-heartedly and expect full results. You can't give the world 50% and expect it to give you 100 back. The grind demands everything. Your attention, your energy, your time, your mind, your soul. You gotta live in a state of absolute focus where nothing can pull you off track. Because distraction is a silent killer of dreams. It doesn't destroy you all at once. It chips away at your discipline piece by piece until you wake up one day realizing you've spent your life being busy, but never productive. That's why the third key to shut up and grind is about mastering your focus, guarding it like your life depends on it, because it does. The world today is designed to steal your attention. Every notification, every app, every conversation, every meaningless distraction is trying to drag you away from your purpose. You have to fight for your focus like it's oxygen. You have to build mental walls around your goals and refuse to let anything inside that doesn't serve them. Because once your focus is fractured, your power disappears. You can't chase your dreams while scrolling. You can't execute your plan while entertaining distractions. And you can't become great while constantly checking what others are doing. Greatness is not built in noise. It's built in silence. It's built in those long hours when you disappear, when nobody knows where you are because you're locked in on your mission. That's the mindset of a grinder, to be so obsessed with your vision that distractions lose their voice. The grind is a test of isolation. You got to learn to separate yourself from the world for a while. You got to be willing to miss out, to say no, to disappear from the social noise so you can hear your own thoughts. Because focus requires silence. You can't build something legendary while constantly being interrupted. You can't find your purpose while listening to the opinions of people who don't even believe in themselves. You've got to cut the noise and tune into your grind. Every second you spend distracted is a second you could have spent building. And in the end, those seconds are what separate winners from talkers. The winners shut out the world. The talkers keep scrolling. When you shut up and grind, you stop chasing attention and start chasing improvement. You stop worrying about being seen and start worrying about being seen and start worrying about being better. You realize that the world doesn't owe you recognition. It only rewards results. And results only come to those who are disciplined enough to stay focused when everyone else is wasting time. That's what makes focus so powerful. It multiplies your effort. When you can give one thing your undivided attention, when you can go all in without being pulled in 100 directions, your progress accelerates. What takes most people a year to do, you can do in a month because your mind isn't scattered. You're operating on laser precision while they're running in circles. But staying focused isn't easy. It requires sacrifice. You've got to give up comfort, give up distractions, give up the temporary pleasures that give you nothing but take everything from you. You got to train your mind to choose progress over pleasure, purpose over comfort. Every time you ignore a distraction, you're not losing something. You're gaining power. Every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your goal, you're saying yes to your future. That's how focused people think. They filter every decision through their purpose. If it doesn't serve their grind, it doesn't deserve their time. And here's the truth. Focus isn't something you find, it's something you build. It's a muscle, and like every muscle, it grows with use and weakens with neglect. If you train your mind to focus daily, even when it's hard, even when you're tired, you'll reach a point where focus becomes your default state. You'll stop chasing discipline and start living it. But if you keep letting distractions win, if you keep giving your attention that don't move you forward, you'll lose your edge. You'll become average. And the world is already full of average. You're not grinding for average. You're grinding for greatness. And greatness requires obsession. You gotta want your goal so bad that distractions feel insulting. You gotta be so in love with your mission that every temptation to slack off feels like betrayal. That's what it means to be locked in. It means you wake up thinking about the grind, go to sleep planning the grind, and spend every moment between executing the grind. You stop being motivated by hype and start being driven by hunger. The grind becomes who you are, not something you do. And when you reach that point, when you become one with your purpose, the world can't stop you. But don't think focus means perfection. You'll slip up sometimes. You'll lose sight for a moment. You'll get distracted, tempted, tired. The key is to recognize it fast and return to your mission fast in return. Most people stay lost for weeks or months when they fall off. But the great ones, they correct course immediately. They've trained their awareness to snap them back to purpose. That's the difference between dreamers and doers. Not that doers never fall, but that they never stay down long enough to lose momentum. You've got to build that reflex, that instant response that says, I can't stay distracted. I've got work to do. And that's why you got to be intentional with your environment. You can't stay focused in chaos. You can't expect clarity while surrounding yourself with confusion. If you want to grind at a high level, you've got to structure your world around your vision. Clean your space, plan your days, limit the people who drain your energy. Protect your mornings, guard your nights. Everything in your life should point toward your goal because your environment either fuels your focus or fights it. You can't rise if your surroundings are constantly pulling you back down. Focus is also about emotional discipline. You can't let every move, every feeling, every bad day knock you off track. The grind doesn't care about how you feel. It cares about what you do. You've got to learn to work through your emotions, not wait for them to pass. You can't be ruled by feelings. You've got to be ruled by purpose. The moment you let emotions dictate your consistency, you lose. Because there will always be days when you don't feel like grinding. That's where focus steps in. Focus says, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. That's power. That's discipline. That's how legacies are built. And let me tell you something. The grind rewards focus like nothing else. When you learn to give something your whole attention, doors start opening that others can't see. You start operating on a frequency most people never reach. You start attracting opportunities, ideas, and breakthroughs because your energy is aligned. You're no longer chasing, you're creating. That's what happens when your mind is fully locked in. You become unstoppable. You become dangerous. So if you really want to live the meaning of a shut up and grind, learn to master your focus. Stop talking about what you're going to do and start putting your entire being into doing it. Stop letting distractions rob you of your destiny. Cut the noise. Block the nonsense. Protect your peace. Lock in on your mission like your life depends on it. Because it does. You only get one life, one chance, one shot at your dream. Don't waste it being distracted by things that don't matter. The grind is waiting for you. The focus is the key. And when you lock in fully, when you silence the world and tune into your purpose, you'll finally realize that everything you've been chasing was always within reach. You just had to focus long enough to grab it. Listen to me. There comes a point in your life when talking isn't enough. You've dreamed, you've planned, you've talked about what you're going to do, but now it's time to shut up and grind. Because talk doesn't move mountains, work does. Vision doesn't mean anything without execution. Dreams don't come true through motivation. They come true through movement. You've got to stop announcing your potential and start proving it through your discipline. You've got to be so focused, so relentless, so locked in that people stop asking what you're doing and start wondering how you did it. The grind is not glamorous. It's not loud. It's not loud. It's not pretty. It's lonely, painful, repetitive, but it's the only place where greatness is born. Every single day, life is testing you, testing your focus, your hunger, your patience, your faith. It wants to see how bad you really want what you say you want. Because the truth is, everybody wants success, but only a few are willing to pay the price. The grind is that price. It's the currency of every dream you've ever had. You can't fake it. You can't cheat it. You can't skip it. You either grind for it or you settle for less. But I'm telling you, when you give your all, when you put your heart, your mind, your soul into your purpose, life has no choice but to open the door. That's how it works. The world doesn't move for the weak. It moves for the relentless. So stop waiting for someone to validate your effort. Stop hoping for perfect conditions. Stop overthinking, overplanning, and overtalking. The time to act is now. The time to grind is now. Because you don't get this moment back. Every hour you waste scrolling, every day you spend procrastinating, that's your potential slipping away. You've got to grab your life with both hands and command it to move. You've got to tell yourself, no more excuses, no more distractions, no more limits. This is your season to show the world what happens when a person locks in completely and when it gets hard. And it will remind yourself why you started. Remind yourself of the pain that pushed you here, the hunger that woke you up, the fire that burns inside you. Because if you can keep that fire alive, nothing can stop you. Pain will come, rejection will come, failure will come, but none of that matters if your grind never dies. The grind is what turns pressure into power. The grind is what transforms pain into purpose. The grind is what takes you from average to unstoppable. So this is the moment. Not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. This moment right now. Shut up and grind. Tune out the noise. Focus on your mission. Stay locked in until the results speak so loud that your silence becomes your victory. Because the world doesn't respect words, it respects results. And the only way to get those results is to put your head down, silence the doubt, ignore the noise, and grind like your life depends on it. Because it does.